Welcome back. What a scenario we have playing out in the Senate this time. Well, joined now by Yinusa Tanko in our Abuja studios. He's the chairman, Inter-Party Advisory Council. Thank you for joining us this morning on this program. Well, now that we're watching the Senate, all of this unfold, after that session, the plenary, they eventually addressed the press conference, both of them factionalized. I mean, occasionally you have to discuss with the chairman of these parties in this council. But you've also have been observing how all of this is playing itself out. What do you see happening with this kind of division? Do you see them overcoming this, and maybe how soon, so that they can get down to the business of the day?
Well, I don't see it quickly fizzling out, but there must be a drastic solution to it, and as quickly as possible. Let me remind Nigerians that this particular marriage of convenience was of 5 groups, if I may recall. The CPC, the AMPP, the ACN, part of ABGA, and then the new PDP. Now, each of these 5 groups have a particular interest why they join to become one. Once that particular marriage of convenience is either it has been documented and agreed that each and every group will take this particular portion of power, and is agreed upon and is being executed. Where it is let loose for everybody to take his own share after power has been gotten, it becomes a dangerous situation. This is exactly what played out. The early warning sign has already been made when a meeting of the APC was being called to select the party flag bearer at the Senate. And some of these assembly members refused to be in that particular meeting. Then the the ACN should have taken, APC should have taken a precautionary measures earlier enough to take care of the situation. Because what is already playing out is that every group is taking care of its own interests. Now, my advice and the advice of the council for the interests of democracy and the Nigerian people is that the president should take quick precautionary measures to invite all these groups and let them know that the collective interests and the collective promises that they made to Nigeria is paramount, because this situation may drag longer than necessary to affect governance. Well, at the moment now, I have not spoken with the chairman of the APC because I know the issues are on the ground, but we will discuss to give our own candid suggestion for them to quickly take these particular issues as serious as possible. Because for us as politicians, we cannot allow this particular disharmony in the House to continue to linger, because the onus of democratic challenge is already on this particular new government.
Let me bring this in, because, I mean, you advise or suggest that the president should wade in, call them and remind them of certain things, but don't they already know that? And besides, isn't this what some of them are trying to guard against, an external party trying to tell them how to do their thing? But remember, you have a lot of new members in this National Assembly, so shouldn't he be careful how he wades in, if at all he should?
One of the quality of a good leader is for him to be able to manage situation. A situation has already occurred. If he let it loose and allow them to continue to decide on their fate, then what it means is that there will not be allegiance to his own governance, but rather those who support them. This is politics.
Now, it seems we're going back to the old order. We want the president to intervene even after the Nigerian people have always said they want to see some form of independence amongst the 3 arms.
The independence has already taken place. most importantly, the Senate and the House of Reps have decided where they want to go. All I'm saying is that for internal party cohesion within his own party to get the level of cooperation that he needs from both houses, he needs to harmonize his own house first and ensure that the will of the Senate and the House of Representatives is something that he all carry on. I will congratulate him for the fact that he quickly responded and saying that the decision of the House was constitutional. But then you cannot run away from the fact that there's already internal bickering within his own party, which will now translate into order. That is exactly what has transpired now that you're seeing that even the the President of the Senate-elect has an opposition party as his own deputy. If the House is in one order, he will have preferred to take from his own party. So for the president to show control and leadership, he must be able to carry everybody along so that they can play allegiance to him. This is very, very important. Inasmuch as we agree to separation of power, there must be a harmonious house that can help the president to execute most of the work that he wants to execute. That is the point I'm making here.
You know, looking at your point, I think you're quite in order, but we have to also look at it critically and see how this doesn't snowball into other state assemblies. For instance, in Plateau State yesterday, they already have the speaker, who is a member of the APC, and the deputy, a member of another party, I think the PDP. How can leaders of the different blocks you have just, highlighted, coming together, making up APC, all pull their weight together on this particular one and see that it is resolved?
Well, that is the reason why I mentioned earlier on. I am not so sure if there were agreement as regard to each group handling certain areas in terms of governance. I'm not so sure because I'm not there when they make their agreement. But the fact remains that every group will look out for its own interest. Don't forget, the new PDP, which is part of the Saraki movement, the AMPP and all of those ones, everybody has an interest. This interest cannot be ignored. So you must be able to come to terms with this and be able to call them together and know their feelings. Because in politics, every group is interested in something. That is a fact. So if we are quick in resolving this matter, it may not actually dovetail into some of the things that may happen in the other state assembly. But the president has already shown a direction by not showing any anger. This is very, very key. We must not show any anger, because if we start showing anger, then what will end up is that the House will be seriously divided, and every position that the Senate President or the Speaker of the House of Representatives take, the other group will find a way of shooting it down, throwing caution into dustbin. But the Nigerian people at the moment now, I must tell you, majority of them are not happy. They are looking at it as if probably that the change that they are actually asking for may not come to pass. But immediately if the Senate and the President and the House of Representatives show cohesion, that it is actually, they are interested in giving good governance to the people. But what they want is to ensure that there is no interference in the activities of the Senate and the House of Representatives, so that they can play their constitutional role of checkmating and making laws that will give good governance to the people.
Well, you know.